What's going on, everybody? Welcome to G Miles World Podcast. And Nick Foles mania is finally over. Marshon Lattimore was able to seal the game with an interception off of a tip. And if you were watching this game from the start to finish, you would have thought that the Eagles would have been able to pull this out, especially the way that Bennett was able to, help them out by not giving that field goal up to go up by 9 in the later parts of the fourth quarter, man. But this was a very, very interesting game because there's a lot of things that you should be thinking about. Number one, what are the Eagles going to do with Nick Foles and the Carson Wentz situation? Now, a lot of you guys are going to look at the youth version like, you know what? We gotta keep the guy because he's probably going to develop into something later down the line. What we do know is that Nick Foles in the playoffs is not Nick Foles during the regular season. So it's kind of weird because the dude, he definitely comes out and performs. And, overall, did he have some bad throws? It was a couple times that the Saints switched it up and played man-to-man defense, and he just overthrew like these lollipop balls. Like, I don't know what he was doing. And, that really cost the Eagles late in the game because it appeared that if he couldn't just throw the ball up to, Alshon, he didn't know what to do. Zach Ertz wasn't really involved in the game like he should have been. That's the funny thing about it, because if Wentz plays this game, I think Zach Ertz is a little bit more involved and it changes the dimension of the game itself. So they're both two different type of quarterbacks, and we have to wait to see how it actually develops. But ultimately, the Saints were able to play enough throughout adversity to come back. Now, it's funny. What's funny about it is it's the interception that Foles threw early in the first half that brought them back into the game, because when they're up 14-zip, it's like, you pretty much are thinking that the game's over. And then Foles, that's the kind of player that he is. That's why a lot of people knocked it. Yes, he was able to win the Super Bowl, and I think ultimately him getting that MVP secures himself for life. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, he's going to get money because teams are going to be willing to give him a chance. But again, can you blame the whole game on Foles? You absolutely cannot. But the Saints did enough to be able to stop him in the most critical moments, because, like I said, I thought that they were probably going to, find a way to come back down and win the game, score a touchdown, win the game by 1. Ultimately, the tip interception is what changed that. So what does that mean for the Eagles going forward? Look, I give the Eagles a lot of credit because they weren't even supposed to be here, bro. They got off to a pretty rough start. A lot of things got crazy. The Cowboys kind of surprised a lot of people. It was a different type of format for the NFC East. Next year, looking forward to the NFC East, I don't think that it's going to be the same scenario. Depending on what happens with Alex Smith and the Redskins, I don't know, how that's all going to come. Like, is Adrian Peterson coming back? It's a lot of different things that's going to happen, but the East is always going to be something weird. The NFC East, because you have the Cowboys there, right? And you have a coach in Jason Garrett that's not really the coach. He's just a figurehead, so you can't really expect much from that team. Like, I can't, as a logical person, root for the Cowboys while that guy is the head coach, because theoretically Jerry Jones is the head coach and the team doesn't respect the guy that's supposed to be talking to him. So who are you playing for? Like, I understand you got to play for yourself and your family, whatever, but it's a brotherhood in those locker rooms, and they're supposed to have a leader. They don't appear to have that right leader, and that's what the issue is for the Dallas Cowboys. So after that, you look at Doug Peterson, it's going to be like, maybe a QB carousel going on. I don't know. But ultimately, my gut feeling is that they get rid of Nick Foles and they keep Carson Wentz, because I think they're going to go with the youth in this situation. Eli Manning and the Giants, if he comes back as the quarterback, it's going to be more frustration. It's going to be more aggravation because the dude is blind. And like I said, he could have been the star in Bird Box without the blindfold. Like, the dude just throws the ball to anybody else other than his receivers. And then, like I said, like, going forward with everything else that's going to transpire, you got the Cowboys, you got the Eagles, you got the Redskins, and, with the Giants now, like I just told you, I don't know what's going to be going on with that. So it's a lot of different situations that's going to be happening within the NFC East. Now, let's talk about this monster who is Michael Thomas. I don't know what's going on, bro, but I'm going to tell you this right now. It was several third downs that I don't understand what was going on. What was happening? Why wasn't anybody covering this guy? And I can't even really say they weren't covering him. They were all over him, but the dude was just catching the ball. And it was unbelievable because, again, people don't give him a lot of credit for his speed, and I understand that. Like, when it comes to like stride for stride, nobody's really like, yo, this dude's a burner. But the dude has unbelievable hands, and he's going up and getting that thing. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at this aspect of the Saints game, it's kind of dangerous because Kamara is a very, very good running back, and he's very, very, like, slippery. You know what I'm saying? He's like the greased up deaf guy from Family Guy. Like, he's outrageous, and he's very, very slithery. And they have a lot of other things. If Ginn is able to get into the mix and stuff like that, they got some pretty good tight ends. They could do a lot of different things. And I just don't really understand why people, like the Eagles started off well, and then they allowed him in several parts of this game when they had penalties, they were backed up, all that stuff was going on, to get open and catch balls. I don't understand. But it all boils down to Sean Payton having the guts and the grit to go for that fake punt and get that first down. I think if they don't go for that right there, the game's pretty much over. I think based on momentum and the way that the Eagles came out playing, the interception from Foles and Sean Payton, he's always, I don't know why people don't understand. And some people are going to say, Doug Peterson, there was a holding penalty. Why didn't you take that? It's a lot of things that's going to happen within that transition. But ultimately, you got to give credit to Sean Payton because you're going to give them the blame you're going to give them the blame if they lose. So having a gutsy call like that right there, that is completely critical. And people need to start to understand this is what makes championships. And this is what scares me about this team. Because remember, understand this, right? In the Dome, it's very, very hard to beat them. But Sean Payton, remember that Super Bowl when he comes out at the half and does that onside kick? I will never, ever forget that, bro, because that right there is what made me understand. Even I've been doing podcasts for a while, and if you guys don't have all the podcasts right here on G Myers World Podcast, you can go to G Myers World, and I have a whole podcast section because I've been doing them for a very long time. You can check out some of the ones that I spoke about because I specifically spoke about that Super Bowl. And what happened was when he did that, that was the turning point for that Super Bowl, and it really showed me a different side of Sean Payton. It showed me that guy does not care about anything, bro. And he's willing to put everything on the line. And that's why I like him as a head coach. You can respect a guy like that. You see what I'm saying, bro? But going back to Jason Garrett, it's very, very difficult for men to look at another man in a leadership role if they can visibly see that they don't have the control. And Jerry Jones is doing interviews like he's the head coach, and it's just a lot of craziness going on. So I just want to clarify that because I like a lot of the players on the Cowboys. I love the Flying Dutchman. I love Jalen Smith. I love me some Zeke Elliott. Dak Prescott pretty good, but I don't really know what I'm getting out of him time to time. I like Amari Cooper. There's players that I like that I will root for, but I don't like that whole systematic situation. And we're already hearing that he's going to get extended. So that's what I really want to just make sure I clarify, because overall, if they had just another coach that really coached the team and Jerry Jones stepped away, the Dallas Cowboys would be a very dangerous team if coached properly. There's no question about that. There's no debate about it. But as long as it continues to go on like this, which is the way that I think that Jerry Jones is allowing it to go on, maybe when his son takes over, it'll be a little bit different. But at this point in time right now, it's pretty much what it is, all right? So for that, I just wanted to clarify that whole situation as far as looking at the Eagles and the NFC East and everything like that. Now, let's fast forward to the Rams. Who do I like? This is very, very difficult because both of these teams have highly explosive offenses, and it's going to come down to defense. Who do I trust more defensively? When you look at it, Lattimore is a goon, right? But Marcus Peters can play. Talib is back. You got Aaron Donald, who you just cannot block. That's what scares me about the Rams when you play against the Rams. You can't block that guy. So, what are we going to do about that guy? You got your Fletcher Cox, you got Bennett, you got some guys up front that can go in there, make plays, Graham, stuff like that can make some plays. And also with Graham's fumble, that wasn't a fumble because he didn't recover it. That was also a critical play. Now that I just brought his name back up. Brandon Graham should have definitely recovered that. That would have probably changed the fate of the Eagles. But again, when you look at it at a certain type of on-field performance, who do you trust more? I trust the quarterback with Drew Brees more than I trust the quarterback of the Rams. All right, that right there, I have to, Jared Goff is not there with me yet where I'm yo, bro, I could really bet on this guy. I can't bet on Jared Goff. I could bet on Drew Brees. Defensively, I think the Rams, even though they've been having issues stopping the run and a lot, I think that defensively, it's I don't know, maybe it's a wash. I think they should, because Lattimore is a very, very good corner, and I think he's a little bit more disciplined, even though he's new, a little bit. I think he's a year newer, or did he come? Yeah, probably Marcus Peters had a year on him or something like that. Or maybe they're in the same draft. There's something going on with them, but they're both young corners. But I think Lattimore is a little bit more mature. I'd have to go back and look at it and see. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to write it in the comments. But I just think that Marcus Peters is a hothead, and he's more of a reason that they could possibly lose that game. I think it might come down to a holding call, something like that he's going to do. Maybe he kicks the ball into the the crowd like he did when he was with the Chiefs. I don't know. But I'm not ready to bet on anyone yet, and I'm not ready to give my picks. But if you want to know who I'm going to be picking. I will be tweeting it out at G Myers World throughout the week once I see what's going on during the week with both those teams. I want to thank everybody for watching. Can't wait for the championship game. I'll see you guys next week. Until next time, one love.